Now, nothing sounds and smells sweeter than making cupcakes, so imagine making a living from it. Well, let's meet local Canberra businesswoman Sharon Mitchell from the Jazz Apple Cafe. Sharon had a happy marriage, kids and a beautiful house, but like all good stories, it's not all sugar and spice. 5 years ago, she ended up in hospital, almost dead from alcoholic seizures. Since then, she's been through detox, overcome her fears and written a book. And she's put the icing on many a cake.
Well, we might get started on the icing first.
So you can colour my world with sunshine yellow each day. Oh, you can colour my world with happiness all the way.
100 years ago, people used to bake cakes to celebrate people's birthdays and weddings, and 100 years from now, who knows where the technology will be, but I'm pretty sure they'll still be cooking cakes for weddings and birthdays. It is just something timeless.
Sharon Mitchell has got a flair for creating a delicious cupcake. She's taken her sugary passion and turned it into her day job, but she's ridden a rocky road to get there.
I couldn't understand why I wasn't happy, because I had a husband, I had 2 healthy children, we had a multi-million-dollar business, we had a great big white house on the hill in a great suburb here in Canberra, you know, 3 European cars in the driveway, children in a private school. I literally couldn't ask for anything more on paper, and that really makes it harder to get out of bed every day and wonder, why am I still not happy?
Sharon has been addicted to alcohol for most of her life. Within months of taking her first sip as a teenager, she was drinking every day.
I mean, the way I try to explain it to people, to non-alcoholics, is that just for you, you have the need to breathe. I had the need to drink. You know, my body was telling me if I didn't drink, I was going to die, you know, even though it was the exact opposite. And that's what alcoholism does for you. You know, I just didn't have the ability to not to do it. I would get up in the morning and I would drink, but I knew how much I could drink to start functioning, because I couldn't function without the alcohol, but not too much that it would knock me out before I'd have to do things like get the kids to school. I lived 20 years of my life doing things that other people do as normal things, but I did them with, you know, the mother of all hangovers, all day, every day. I really like using this star nozzle that we use that gives that really nice piped effect that we have, because it does look like a really old-fashioned cupcake that your grandma used to make. Towards the end of my drinking, I got to the stage where I was drinking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I ended up having 3 alcoholic seizures within the space of a really short time. In that last seizure, when I ended up in emergency, and the doctors literally said to me, Sharon, you're going to die, and you're going to die not later, but sooner.
Going into detox was Sharon's only option, and the first step towards a new life.
I mean, recovery has been really difficult, physically painful initially, and then emotionally painful for a lot of the initial years. I sometimes wonder if someone had have told me that as they took me into detox, you know, if I would have gone. And I often think maybe I would have chosen death, maybe I would have thought I didn't have it in me. It was learning the things that I just had missed out on learning because I'd been drinking from such an early age. I sort of say that, you know, my daughter was 13 when I got sober, and I wasn't much older than that when I started drinking. And it was sort of funny because even though I was 38, I sort of thought I was at the same emotional maturity level as my daughter at the time. There were just so many things that I had, so many life lessons I had not learnt because I'd been, you know, covering those things with my drinking. And let me tell you, icing a cupcake looks easy, but it's actually harder than you'd think.
The support of people who have also fought alcoholism has played a big part in helping Sharon to get better.
Man, they smell nice. So many people and women actually do the same as me, in that they don't learn how to grow emotionally and feel their feelings and deal with things. Now, mine was easy to pick. I covered mine with my drinking, but there are a lot of women who cover them with prescription and other drugs. There are a lot of women who have shopping addictions, OCD, codependency. You know, the list goes on of ways that we actually can think of to prevent ourselves actually feeling feelings and getting some emotional growth from that. One of the biggest lessons I've learnt in this whole thing is that growth comes through pain, through development, through learning things, and it's not always about finding the easiest way out with the least amount of feelings. And we do live in a society that makes it easy for us to say, I don't want to feel that feeling. I actually, it's easier just to pretend that that's not going on and find a happy place.
Sunshine, yeah.
Sharon's still icing cakes, she's whipped up a book, and she's stirring up conversation with groups of women.
I love when I'm talking to women and they have, what we call an aha moment, when they realise that something I've told them can really change their life. So you can see how we can get through a few thousand of those pretty quick.
Yeah, right.
My life is so fantastic now that I really need to give back. I need to be able to give back and share the lessons, because it seems way too selfish to be so happy and have learned all these things and have such a fantastic life. I want to be able to share that wherever possible and give it back.
Oh, colour my world.
Adam Shirley was the reporter, and yes, a small number of cakes were devoured in the making of that story.